Hello and welcome. My name is Tom Shima, and today is Thursday, July 23rd. I'm going to continue to be playing the game Persona 3 Reload as a part of my Persona a Day series. That's where I've been playing the game one in-game day at a time, as it lines up with the real calendar. I'm going to go over what happened yesterday to make sure we're all caught up coming into today. Then we'll get into today's gameplay and see what happens. And after that, we'll come back here to the desk and talk about it. I'll have timestamps available in case you want to jump ahead to a different section. And I also want to mention that this is a full playthrough of the game, so we will be encountering spoilers. Please be aware of that. So let's go over what happened yesterday on Wednesday the 22nd before we get into today. We've been on vacation on Yakushima Island this week. We arrived on Monday, and we leave today. So yesterday was our third of 4 days on the island. And it's just been a fantastic trip so far. There's been a lot of fun with the whole party. There have been some challenges and some developments as well, so it hasn't been all fun, but looking back so far and everything we've seen and experienced, I wouldn't trade it for anything. Yesterday specifically was just a lot more low-key than Monday or Tuesday. Not that Monday or Tuesday had a lot of stresses, but Monday night we learned more about the incident from 10 years ago. And that was tough to hear some of the details, especially for Yukari, since her dad was the one that was showcased in the video as the head researcher, explaining some more of what happened 10 years ago. That was a challenge. And Tuesday, the guys and I, we were trying to pick up chicks on the beach, and that was a spectacular failure. But after the fact, we met Aigis. She is a robot designed by the Kirijo Group. It looks like a young woman. She's an anti-shadow weapon, and she's going to be joining our group, C's, from now on. So it's really nice to have a new addition to the team, but it was very much a surprise in the moment as well to have someone like that joining our group. I'm excited for that, but again, something unusual for Tuesday. So I wondered what yesterday was going to be, but yesterday was just a vacation day. There were no conflicts, no big revelations, no things we had to come to grips and understand. It was just a vacation day. The whole team, we headed down to the beach early. Didn't look like anybody else was there yet, so we kind of had the place to ourselves. It was just fun. Everybody was playing in the water. Chairman Akutsuki stopped down and let Akihiko and I know that today, Thursday, is going to be our final day here, so to plan accordingly, which we understood and we acknowledged that we would. But, then the rest of the group called Akihiko and I over and said, hey, come on, it's your turn for whatever activity they were doing down by the water. And even Aigis was there, and it was really cool to spend some time with her in just a nice casual setting like this. Having just really met her the night before, there were still so many things we don't know, and even now there are still so many things we don't know. But just having that casual chance to have fun together with her as a part of the group, and have her really integrate that well with all of us. She seemed to be having fun, and everybody else was having fun as well. It didn't seem like there was that awkward uncertainty among anybody. It was just fun. There were no mysteries, no combat, no plans or schedules or expectations for the day. It was just a day for us to be. And so we all just spent the entire day down on the beach there, just having all the fun we could. It was so great just having that chance to have everybody there and willingly wanting to be together and have that fun. By the end of the afternoon, we'd grown a little bit closer with everybody, and that increased the Fool social link rank up to 5. If that wasn't progress enough, the day still had the evening side, which we didn't actually see in the game, but we're still on vacation, so I like to think we headed back to the vacation house after that and had another fantastic fancy dinner, as we're kind of growing accustomed to, being there at the vacation house. Some really good, fancy, unique foods that we wouldn't get to experience otherwise. And then I like to think that come evening, there were the other recreational facilities on the grounds that Chairman Akutsuki mentioned, things like a tennis court or karaoke or things. And I like to think that either we broke up into different groups and experienced those, or we traveled one by one, or as a group and just saw what else was there to do and just spent the whole day together. As many nights as they say we got to bed early, I bet none of us really wanted to give up that fun last night either. So maybe we pushed it a little farther and, stayed at that little bit of extra time to really just keep having that fun. Yeah, we didn't see any of that, but I like to think that's what happened. And it was just that day that had no pressures for us. It was everything I could hope for in a vacation. And I think the rest of the team thought so as well. Eventually we did have to give up and go to bed because, tomorrow's come all the same, but it was a really good day. So we're going to come into today kind of feeling that sadness of a vacation ending, but being able to look back on a lot of fun, positive experiences from it. So I will get us over to the game, and we will see how we wrap our vacation up and what the return to normal feels like. We'll be right over there in just a moment. Okay, so here we are. This is actually the end of yesterday, our time on the beach. This is where we ranked up to rank 5 as a group. And again, it was just so cool to have that time together. You can kind of see in the background there, all of us just along the beach there, just having fun. No pressure, no problems, no hard feelings, nothing like that. Just good fun. Seeing Junpei laying there might have you wondering a little bit, but feel free to check out yesterday's episode to catch up on the specifics. But here we are coming into Thursday. We've caught up with the 23rd. So we're getting into the day, and it's already taking quite the interesting direction. No, it might be a shorter day again today, as I see we're at Thursday evening already. So, okay. Here is Shinjiro Aragaki. We've seen him around before. He's Akihiko's friend. We usually see him at the Port Island station outskirts here, and he's not looking too good today.
You seem to be in great pain.
Here's another person we've seen before. This is the pale young man, the man with the tattoos that he and his group seem to have been watching our group. I believe we last saw them probably 2 weeks ago, or no. No, yeah, it would have been 2 weeks ago, during the full moon anyway. So that was the week before exams. So anyway, they were watching us from a nearby rooftop, kind of wondering about our group as we were fighting the special shadows. They couldn't tell what our objectives were or if we were on their side or not, so from what we can tell about them, our group hasn't really seen anything of them. We've been treated to scenes and cutscenes, so the player and we, the viewer, we've seen a bit more than our characters have. But the fact that they seem to be working with that revenge website in some capacity as well, there's just a lot of questions I have and a lot of doubts I have on how compatible their group would be with ours. That remains to be seen, but just initial impressions being what they are. But having these paths cross is kind of unexpected.
You again. Shit, it's them.
And we have seen the other delinquents in the area talk about the man with the tattoos and the girl in the white dress, and how they're regulars that people like to keep a distance from because they're an unpredictable group. So you can kind of see the reaction from the punks here that fits with those rumors.
You mean those three? Ugh, they're freaky.
Shut up! Let's get out of here!
Yeah, that's one of those, why be extra confrontational? Why draw attention from anybody, really, but especially a group like that has that reputation? Why put yourself in that? Yeah, I'm with the punk there. Give them space.
Why do they always run and hide at the sight of me? They're like back alley rats.
Beats me.
Again, Aragaki's that man of few words.
Jin, give him the capsules.
Thanks.
All right. I'm not sure what capsules he received, but even though Aragaki didn't seem to want to have anything to do with these three, I like the fact that he's still cordial enough to thank them for whatever those capsules are. It wasn't one of those just, stoic glares as they walk off. They apparently did something for him, and to his credit, he acknowledged it properly.
I'll pay you the usual way.
Now hold up. This time, we'd like your payment in the form of information.
Ooh. That's always a tough thing to approach, too. I mean, information has definite value.
Your acquaintances have been busy lately. I'm referring to their activities on nights when the moon is full, of course.
And that's another thing we saw when they were on the rooftop. We know that they've been watching us, but not just recently. He'd mentioned as far back as April, keeping tabs on us. So I'm not sure what they know or why they know it, but we've been on their radar for quite some time now. And that actually does kind of remind me of Tuesday, or that Tuesday from a couple weeks back during the full moon. And he was wondering, like I said, about how well our groups would coexist. And I think he was kind of at that point where he wanted to look deeper and get some more information. I don't know if we were becoming more of a, I don't want to say threat, but just more notable to him, or what the deal was. But it looks like he's actually following through on that. And He's done looking from a distance, and now he's actually digging himself for some information here through Aragaki. So we'll see what comes of that.
They've spent a great deal of time in the tower as well. I wonder, why did they take this burden upon themselves?
And I really also do like the fact that this group knows very little of us. It kind of feels exactly the same as we, the viewer/player, know about this group. I mean, to the point where we don't even know the name of two of them yet. Actually, we might have heard of one of their other names, but I'm not going to say just in case we haven't. But we know of Gene for sure, since he was talked about today by name. But like I say, I like the fact that this group doesn't know exactly what our group is up to. We're out there doing something in Tartarus, and we're doing something during the full moons. They don't know, so they're looking. And it's the same way we feel about them. This group is out here doing something with that revenge website. And, they've got a client that they're working for. They've got a friend in some capacity that they're going to see, which, it's just as vague. So we're equally in the dark. And it kind of feels like we're, on a similar foot there, basically. Wondering about the other side and being wary, not really knowing anything specific. And I just love Aragaki can just say just leave it at that.
You do know, don't you? But you don't wish to say.
Maybe.
Is it perhaps because you're one of them?
I'm not. Got nothing to do with them anymore.
Well, I mean, that was a very direct response, but that anymore part really sticks out to me. It kind of puts some of the things Akihiko was saying into a different context when you think back to their exchanges in the past.
Then tell us.
Ooh, and I like the turn here. It's like, well, if you're not with them anymore, there should be no problem with you telling us about them. Unless you're trying to protect them because you're a part of them. But you just said you're not, so what's the issue?
I'm sure you'd agree these pills are more important than a group you have nothing to do with.
And that feeling of being cornered in, that logic trap there then.
I don't know the details, but supposedly, destroying all those creatures will put an end to the Dark Hour. And that weird-ass tower will disappear.
And that was new information to Aragaki a couple Sundays ago. Akihiko came after that big Saturday night reveal where discussions went kind of sour and things were said and decisions were questioned and motivations were being rethought. He came and met up with Aragaki to talk it out, and that's when he revealed to him the findings that Chairman Akutsuki had shared about how the Dark Hour should end if we destroy all 12 of the shadows. So that's why he seems to know about this.
That's all I know, all right.
And that was new information, so I'm guessing that no one else knows that, since this was a recent discovery from the research that Chairman Akutsuki was doing. And I guess it was confirmed by that research video from what we saw on the island, but that was classified information from the Kirijo Group, so I'm not sure how likely that is to be readily available.
You mean they intend to eliminate the Dark Hour completely?
Okay, and he seems genuinely surprised to hear that as well.
Why would they do such a thing? To give up such power?
Interesting. This kind of feels like that other extreme, the way Junpei was looking at things when he was questioning things. He heard that as well, and he kind of wondered about that. It's like, give up my persona, give up my power, but that's what makes me special. What am I without that? But he kind of came to see that a lot of his problems were self-driven and to try to address them accordingly. This kind of feels like going the other direction and seeing those force changes as that threat, maybe. It's like, I can't comprehend why you would give up this power because of what it makes you. So it's interesting to see maybe a different side of that same problem expressed by way of the pale young man here.
To destroy the Tower of Demise.
That almost incredulous voice now. It's like, how could they do that? Why would they do that? It's unthinkable.
Tower of Demise. Who wouldn't want to take out that damn thing?
That's a fair point. Yeah, from what we've seen of Tartarus, I'm not sure what purpose there would be in preserving something like that. I mean, yes, the Dark Hour is the source of our power, but all of the negatives that come with that really seem to outweigh the good.
Takaya. Yes, I know.
But there he was, just, with one word, able to turn and get his emotions back under control. There,
Can't go back.
he really seems like such a cool and collected person, the tattooed man there. But for him to even start to get fired up about why, how could they, why would they do this? I can't comprehend it. And to have Gene there just calm him down with one word, just say, hey. And kind of just to have the shirtless man there just kind of take that breath and kind of realize that, ooh, I'm kind of losing it. Let's take that deep breath and get my emotions back in check before I say more than I ought. And he just did. He's like, oh, okay. And then they just turned and left. They heard what they needed, apparently, and that was all they wanted to subject either party to. Interesting here, too, that Aragaki, I can't go back. What sort of bridges does he feel like he's burned at this point?
I won't use my power again. Not after last time.
Okay. Well, maybe not so much a bridge being burned, but what sort of event in the past is acting as that block? Man, I'm beat. I bet people would be really tired from traveling all the way back from vacation at this point, but there's also kind of got to be that bit of malaise coming back to just, okay, we're here. We don't have anything to look forward to anymore, which is kind of a hard thing to say since summer vacation starts in a few days now. I think we've got a couple more days of school to wrap up the summer or this term. But as big as this vacation was for the last week, as soon as we knew about it, to have that be done and behind us now, there would definitely be that longing and that wish that it could have continued. It seemed to take forever to get back. That's a good point, too. When we arrived at the island, I believe we left in the morning because it was still daytime when we got there because we spent a lot of Monday on the beach. So it's kind of weird that it was the evening. But I do kind of remember Chairman Akutsuki saying that the ship was leaving the island mid-morning and he was going to get there early and told us not to be late. So maybe it was one of those, it wasn't until late morning, early afternoon before we even departed the island. So yeah, I guess I could see us not arriving back till evening here. Like coming down the stairs, I probably got upstairs and put my stuff away as I do, and kind of just put that vacation stuff behind us.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, it was a tiring trip. Please rest up so you're ready for the next operation.
Yeah.
There's 6 more to fight, right? Yeah, looking up at that counter down there, we've got 14 days. We've got 2 weeks till our next full moon. Which again, it's closer than it seems. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago we fought the shadows during the last full moon, but we're at that halfway point. It was 2 weeks ago. Just the last full moon, shadows and things will go back to normal. No more apathy syndrome incidents, just plain old everyday life. Let's do our best. After all, we're the only ones who can help. Okay, and it seems like we've all got a motivation behind us again. We were kind of questioning it before, and I think maybe there are still some doubts, but I don't think anybody wants to stop what we're doing at this point. Okay. Actually, I wasn't sure I was going to get to see or do anything tonight, so I'm really glad to have that opportunity. I can see everybody wants to talk. I'm going to start off by saving the game. It's been a while. Can't think that the vegetables will be ready anytime soon. Well, let's start with the phone like I like to do. Just an ad from Wakatsu. Limited set meal today. Today we're serving up our special limited dish, only for our regulars. A full-course seafood set meal, available at a reasonable price. We hope you will all try it. Remember, a healthy brain stems from healthy food. Wakatsu's got your back. I can't imagine the team would want to go to Tartarus tonight, and considering everybody talked about being, tired from the trip, and it kind of is questionable to whether or not any of us would want to subject ourselves to that after all the fun we just had. I wouldn't be opposed to going necessarily. There's a chance that either Mutatsu-san or President Tanaka are available tonight as well. Say, one of the benefits of trying to get to Tartarus now would be to try to make some money before Monday, especially because that's the next sale at Officer Kurosawa's, and there's a lot of gear I'd like to pick up. We've got 72,000 yen, which is really nice, but that'll go by pretty quick when things are costing north of 10,000 yen per piece now. haven't been up to my room in a while either. Let's stop in there and think about the rest of the evening. Maybe I still want to head downstairs and talk to everybody, and that might kind of help make my decision for me if they flat out say, we're not going to Tartarus tonight. Oh, look at that. Up on my shelf here, I've got something new. A green turban shell from Yakushima. I have some great memories from the time I spent in Yakushima with my friends. Nice. I've been noticing that empty shelf for a while now, so it's nice to see it populating with other things now. I guess I've barely talked out a plan. I'm not sure what the game will limit me to doing, but we can always look at getting some food somewhere maybe if we can't go to Tartarus. Or just, I guess we'll make that call once we get to it. But let's see what everyone else did with their night. Okay, looks like Mutatsu-san was available for people. Tartarus, I'm pretty sure isn't, looking at that 0%. Most people with daily life activities. It wouldn't be bad to do something like that either. I mean, I want to see Mutatsu-san. But everyone's average level, you can see, is 31 now. So after a little bit of time in Tartarus, they were able to get that much higher. And I believe it was level 30 or 31 that we can make our first tower persona. Which would just mean any subsequent interactions with Mutatsu would have that little bit of progress benefit. So that wouldn't be bad either. Not that I want to overly min-max the game like that, but I'm aware of it, so I kind of want to make as logical a choice as I can in that regard, as long as it still fits our narrative. I'll stop in here and get cleaned up. Probably, try to remember those vegetables up on the roof and see when they'll be ready. 28th. 5 days. Alright, let's start off by talking to everyone. Junpei's got another good meal there. She's super cute, huh? She's super cute, but made out of steel. It's new territory for me. Honestly, I don't know how to approach this. Alright. I like how, he's questioning so much about that, but he just keeps coming back to, but she's cute. Can I look past everything else because she's cute? Huh. Yukari, how you doing? She looks like a normal girl, as long as she doesn't do anything too weird. But if she does, do you think anyone will figure out that she's actually a robot? We haven't interacted with her too much, but a lot of her delivery has seemed fairly robotic. Well, maybe not. Most people probably aren't on the lookout for undercover robots. Probably true. I can't say I am. Maybe I should be more diligent. Everybody's got so much good food around.
Well, about that.
A lot of people are joining the team, huh? Big difference from a while back. I'm sure with it being just he and Mitsuru for so long, to go from April with just the two of them and Yukari not able to use her persona to having a room full of people now. People and robots. Mitsuru?
Nicely done.
An anti-shadow weapon. That will be a most welcome addition. Most souvenirs are useless. Snow globes, keychains, postcards. However, this souvenir from Yakushima is très bien. Kind of weird to think of Aigis as a souvenir. I want to give her some level of personality. We'll continue those talks after we see what's on TV. Today's exchange rate. There are now 115... No, there are now 115.12 yen to the dollar, an increase from last time of 0.15 yen. We'll come back to Fuka just in case we have that chance to go to Tartarus tonight. Chairman Akutsuki, thank you so much for suggesting that vacation. It was a lot of fun. Is there something you'd like to know about Aigis? Anything and everything. I have so much curiosity there. Okay, yep, the others. He'd mentioned that there were a group of these anti-shadow weapons designed and developed, but that Aigis was the last one. Where are the others? I assume you're referring to the other anti-shadow weapons.
Yes.
Well, there are quite a few. There were quite a few created. You could say they were Aigis' siblings. However, they were all destroyed 10 years ago in the incident. Okay. Aigis has been quite lonely since then. That's unfortunate.
You see,
why is she so human? I kind of wondered about that. It says, he says, a persona is a product of the human psyche. So the plan had been to place a human mind inside an anti-shadow weapon. The only real issue was the form that the weapon would take. If we had used a tank, for instance, the weapon's mind wouldn't recognize itself as such. And a contradiction would arise. As we all know, a tank is not a living entity. A human mind, trying to reconcile its existence in this way, would break down before you could blink. So how do we prevent that contradiction? You see where I'm going with this, don't you? When given a body that more closely resembles the expectations of the mind, the spirit stabilizes. That is why Aigis and her siblings were built in the form of human beings. That all makes sense, but that raises those questions about at what point did they decide on this? Does that mean that there were tests beforehand in things like a tank format that a mind did not receive or did respond well to? Again, I don't want to keep doubting the Kirijo Group, but ever since all that stuff came to light, there's just that part of me that wonders on stuff like that.
You see,
And yeah, the other big question of how come she knows me? Why am I the one she was waiting for? I couldn't say. Perhaps it's a bug in her facial recognition programming. He did say as much the other night. I'm sure it's nothing to concern yourself with. You're not worrying over much, are you? I wouldn't say I'm worrying about it, but there is definitely that curiosity. And I guess there's that fine line between curiosity and worry. Aigis, welcome to the team.
Greetings.
These are your lodging quarters? Very well. I shall remain by your side at all times. She's still far from passing as a human. It doesn't look like she understands ordinary feelings in conversation yet. I guess, yeah, what's ordinary to us is a very complex concept to anything, really. I mean, there's a lot of people where ordinary conversation, as it were, is a challenge. You've probably picked up on some of that from me from time to time. Hopefully not too many times, but I know it's there, so. If she could, I might be able to form a bond with her. I see. And Fuka. It was a good trip. Thanks for coming along. Everyone seems so worn out. You must be exhausted too, Shima-kun. Let's not go to Tartarus tonight. Just rest instead. I get that. I'm looking forward to getting back, but yeah, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to rush out there tonight, considering everything. What can we do, though? I could stop by the Velvet Room. I could stop by the Polonia Mall in general and see everybody, but I've got some souvenirs in the form of the shells and the seaweed and the driftwood and the crab. I guess that's all 4 of the things I found on the beach for Elizabeth. So let's head that way and continue our evening. I don't know if I'll spend time with Mutatsu-san or if I'll get dinner tonight. Both sound like fun ways to relax. If anything, maybe getting something good to eat sounds like a nice way to unwind for the day. Maybe wild duck. I think that works on my courage. And that was the next thing I really wanted to do. Or maybe the arcade. I guess I'm not sure what games are available tonight. But I want to work on that courage so I can spend some time with Fuka in the afternoons once that becomes available. So let's start over here. Just start with Game Parade. High School of Youth to work on my charm, or Punch Boxer. We'll visit the pharmacist here. Still selling us, pharmacy's detoxifier. So, pharmacist, I am back. I had a great trip. I just wanted to stop in and say hi. Hope you've been well this week. And I will continue to stop in. I'm looking forward to the sale on Saturday.
You got everything you need?
I do.
Thanks.
I want to stop at the antique. I'm going to stop here tonight anyway, but sooner or later I need to stop in and exchange some of the materials I have for actual items. I can get various bits of equipment and consumables, status upgrade things, so a lot of great things can be exchanged here. But it's a limited pool of resources. I craft these materials. I've only got so many base items that are used for that crafting. So I really need to make the most of all of the different things I have and try to balance that out with what Officer Kurosawa has for sale, because he's got a whole new stock of weapons, armor, footwear, accessories, all that good stuff. So it's kind of as if I can make something really good at the pharmacy or at the antique place, I won't need to buy it from Officer Kurosawa. So it's just that balancing act of trying to cover all those bases. I'm thinking I'm going to be making some armor here and then purchasing the rest for the team from Officer Kurosawa. if there's a chance to get to the tower before Monday, it would be kind of nice to get in there, just on that off chance I'm able to find any gear for the party, because anything I can find is something I won't have to buy or make. But there's also that decision of probably still making the armor, because the armor could be used by anybody, so I'm not going to find 6 pieces of armor, however many people we're up to now. We've got quite the group. And we do have Aigis on the roster now as well. She's pretty close to everyone's level. That's really nice to see. Let's actually pull up her stats while we're here. Her persona is of the Chariot Arcana. It's Palladian. Okay, looks like she has focus on attacks and then buffs and debuffs. Got a piercing attack and arrow rain, a physical attack, or a striking attack and swift strike. You can raise one ally's attack, defense, and nullify status debuffs for all allies. That's going to be a handy one. I mean, not to say that these two won't, but it's really nice to be able to knock off those debuffs. She's resistant to piercing and weak to lightning. And let's look at the background of Palladian. A guardian statue in ancient Greece, stolen from Troy, that protects the city in which it was enshrined. It is said that Athena was so saddened by the death of her friend, Pallas, that she had a wooden statue made in her image. Okay. And she is weak to electricity. I was going to try to look for an accessory that might mitigate that weakness while I'm thinking about that. So let's just take that look for Aigis. She's currently using a red ribbon, a large crimson ribbon. Adds flare and color to the collar. Do we have anything that would protect against electricity or lightning? Not especially. Magic, endurance, light. Well, I guess at this point she doesn't really seem like she uses much magic, so yeah, I guess. How about some endurance until we find something else? Okay, yeah, I was wondering if her equipment was going to be unique to her as well. I don't have anything else on hand, so can't swap any of that out. But yeah, I'm probably not going to be doing any shopping tonight, especially since we're not going to Tartarus. So I'm just here to visit the Mayawido shopkeeper. I'm going to keep my eye out for gems. But shopkeeper, I love your shop here. There's all sorts of cool stuff here to see. I can't wait to take a closer look here in the near future. And I'm just excited you're going to be in the area. So thank you as well for helping the team.
Everything good?
It is.
Come again.
Oh, I could also head up to Mandragora up there for some courage. I was trying to think of other options for the evening. That might be something to look at. Still getting a meal sounds pretty nice. Officer Kurosawa, I just want to let you know the team and I were all back. We had a fun week. I hope you had a good week here. And it's back to reality, so I'm going to continue to count on you.
What'd you bring?
Nothing to sell. So, that's all I've got tonight for you. So, I hope you have a good one.
You finished?
I am.
Be seeing you.
Kind of nice to just, get back to normal in this regard. Is this place open now? Something looks different here. Let's also check this bulletin board while we're here. I said it the very first time I was exploring the Polonia Mall, and I'm going to say it again too. I've always kind of wondered, because I haven't heard the name of this place actually voiced. Is this B Blue V or B Blue 5? Is that supposed to be a Roman numeral or the letter V? Or something else entirely? How do you guys see it? Our special 3,000 yen program will cleanse your soul and send you to heaven. Face your inner self and bring out that which lies deep within you. Okay, I might be able to recall a forgotten persona skill if I undergo a treatment at this store. The proprietor of the store name I can't pronounce can help your allies recall forgotten skills. That's really handy in case I do something that would be regrettable. It's not as permanent a decision as I thought it was then, so take advantage of this if you feel like changing up your strategy. Oh, I can also work here Monday through Friday, either after school or on days off. And of course, time will pass. Okay. That's good to know. kind of cool to see another place open up down here. So that would be everything open now. Very cool. Let's stop in Club Escapade as well. We still need to see Elizabeth and Igor, but I've actually got more business back there with them, so... nobody knew any... I mean, it's only been 4 days, so it kind of stands to reason that not a whole lot has changed, but still nothing new back here other than that Iwatodai forum note, which one of these days, if it feels like it's necessary, I'll look into it, but it hasn't felt necessary yet, so there's Mutatsu-san. Yeah, it looks like everything's normal here still. Nice to, again, be back and see it. It's been a while. Let's catch up our save here. Yes, I've got some souvenirs for Elizabeth.
Marvelous.
I can sense the power growing within you stems from the bonds you have forged and nurtured. Here, it may not be much, but this is my gift to you. Please accept it. 2 Twilight Fragments.
I'm looking forward to it.
I still cannot foresee the limits of your potential. I look forward to witnessing you grow even further. So it's nice to get those couple Twilight Fragments before we get back into Tartarus. They can open those special chests, which are the best chance of having new gear. So that should go hand in hand with my hopeful next attempt in there.
Are you accepting a request?
I'd like to report on number 44. I wish to feel the ocean.
Let's hear the results.
Seems you've completed a request. One moment, please, while I check. Oh, I see you're carrying something related to the ocean. May I have one? You may have them all if you want. What should I give her? Just reading the description, I mean, the pretty seashell sounds a lot nicer than the strange seaweed or the small crab. The Yakushima wood doesn't sound bad, but knowing that's a piece of driftwood, I like driftwood, but again, like I said, on the beach, when I think of something from the beach, it's hard not to think of seashells. I mean, my character kept one, has it on his shelf as well, so I guess our character kind of thinks the same way I do on that, so I'm going to think that same way as well and give her the pretty seashell.
Oh my.
My, what a beautiful shell. I profess, it is deeply moving knowing that something so enchanting was sculpted by nature.
How splendid.
Thank you. Because of your stories and your lovely souvenirs, I was able to experience the ocean myself. Please, take this as your reward. 5 amethysts. Nice rare gems. That'll be great now that the antique store is open. And that completes another request without another one to take its place. So we're catching up on the requests.
Very well, then.
And I'm not here to pick up a persona. I don't have any to register because we haven't had any sort of combat in a while. So we can just stop in and say hi to Igor here. Another one of those nice places to get back to and see again after a handful of days.
Welcome to the Velvet Room.
Igor, Elizabeth, I am back from my vacation. I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to continue to count on you going forward. We won't be going to Tartarus tonight, but we will sooner or later, so I hope I can count on your help there again. Thank you for always being there for me, and I'll see you when I do.
We look forward to your next visit.
Good to see they're doing well. Okay. Well, let's head over to the station mall now. I mean, who knows? Maybe I'll come back here and do some singing by myself tonight up there, but... Well, let's just check our options. I also want to stop by the Net Cafe and see if by now anything new has shown up. Probably not, considering it hasn't been at all yet, but one of these days, I'm confident it will. See if I can talk to anybody along the way. Nope, looks like everybody else. It's so weird to think. I mean, it feels like it's been so long since I've been here, but it was just Monday morning that we left, so it hasn't even been a full week, but we've been on the island since then, so it really does, I mean, it's been, 4 days. So time has definitely passed. You're looking at Wild Duck there. Wild Duck sounds pretty nice, too. I'll have to double check. I mean, I'm almost certain I can work on my courage there. It's been so long since I've been there, I want to make sure before I just jump in. Not that working on anything that I need wouldn't be a bad thing, but I kind of want to, try to go in the right direction. Yep, nothing new to buy here. There's almost a part of me that's thinking about that Iwatodai forum note and not really knowing what it does, and thinking about just picking that up and getting that done with tonight while I've got nothing else, especially calling my name, just to, again, know that that side of things is done, but... No, I still think, yes, doing something fun sounds more fun. I think we've seen everything else. Let's just double check. never mind. It's too crowded right now. Everybody else had that same thought too. Is that a sign then to go back and pick up that forum note? Is that really, I mean, other people use the shared computer tonight. Other people, sang at Mandragora as well. I hadn't even thought about Chagall Cafe. That would get me a point of charm and a point of courage. Let's get that forum done. Why not? I don't know what it's going to do for me, if it'll do anything for me, but they wouldn't have it in the game if it didn't have some utility, right? Kind of like not knowing about when I was doing the research on the school website and buying that school X note, and for having that led me to the lukewarm taiyaki, which led to the chilled taiyaki, which led to completing a request for Elizabeth. Maybe there's that same sort of convoluted path, and something I learned from this forum note will be that thing I'm so glad to have later. At the very least, I'll know whatever its contents are now, and it'll be done. I won't be like, oh, okay, when can I do this? Especially things start to get busy in the evening, where we're trying to juggle Tartarus and other obligations. And it's like, when can I fit the shared computer in for this? So we're going to buy the Iwatodai forum note finally. So that is the last thing to buy from here for now.
It's been a pleasure.
So let's head back to the dorm and see if it was worth the wait or not. Kind of interesting again, now that we're back, to see that there are still some people suffering from apathy syndrome, and it is, maybe a little bit more than we'd seen, but the cases didn't fully go back to zero the last time either. Yeah, like we normally had after a full moon, but they still don't seem to be super prevalent. I mean, we're kind of at that midpoint. We're just off of the new moon, so those cases will probably increase as the moon, waxes more, but for now it doesn't look too bad out there. We talked to everybody. Speaking of those lukewarm taiyakis, I know I can't put it in there yet, but I do have one more that I can put in the freezer next time it's clear on the 30th? 29th. Okay, I guess it's good I came back to check. I don't need it like I did the first time, but it's a good healing item that was cost effective. Yes, I'm not really sure what this note's going to do for me, but I am excited to have it done, basically. It's kind of been that thing in the back of my head that's like, what is on that forum note? What will I need it for? Could it be good? Maybe it could be totally worthless, but from here on out, every night now, I will know that it's done, and it won't be that thing that's constantly in there like, hey, make sure you check that. When are you going to do that? You should do that. We're doing it. I'm going to save the game here, and we'll see finally what's on this note. Let's see what this URL leads to. Iwatodai Forum. Looks like a message board for locals. Makes sense. The most recently updated topic is... new? Secret about the vending machine in front of the station. I'll take a look at that thread. Anonymous 10. When are they going to fix the vending machine? LOL. Anonymous 11. Wait, what's this secret? Yeah, at Anonymous 11. You can actually still buy drinks that are marked as sold out. The machine's broken, so there's drinks marked sold out when it's not. Just press the button. I recommend the 4-biotic pack. Okay. I'm not sure what those drinks do for me. I can't remember what their stats were, but I probably didn't give them a whole lot of thought if they said sold out. It looks like the drinks that are marked as sold out can still be bought. So that might actually be useful. Yeah, I should try it out when I tried on the vending machine in front of Iwatodai Station. They're very specific about that one. The vending machine in front of Iwatodai Station. Well, okay. It's gotten late. I should head back to my room. I don't feel like that's a huge draw for me, but who knows? They mentioned that 4-biotic drink. Maybe one of these days Elizabeth will request one of those and I'll be able to buy one. And maybe it's a good healing item, or maybe I'm just a connoisseur of all the different sodas in the area and I want to try one of those. Either way, I've got that knowledge now and I can use it however it needs to be used. All things considered, it was good to take advantage of that tonight and do this now so that I don't have to keep wondering what's going to be there. Okay, but yeah, it's gotten late, so I should head back to my room. Okay, looks like that's the end of the day. And it was another good one. Let's head back to the desk and talk about it. Okay, here we are. So yes, that was the end of Thursday, July 23rd, and it was a great day. Kind of sad to come back from a vacation and have to be back to normal, but there's also kind of something nice about returning to the known and not having to wonder about things. We're coming back re-energized, refreshed. We had a lot of fun as a team. We got closer, so there's a lot of great things to look back on as well. Hopefully we can just use that as motivation for everything going forward. At the start of our day, technically, we saw Shinjiro Aragaki talking with the man without a shirt and the other two that are with him. They'd given him some sort of pills, and he thanked them for that, and we're not sure what they do, but apparently it was something that he relies on them for, to the point that he'd been regularly paying the group for them. And the man without the shirt said, no, you can pay us with information this time. And he asked about what Aragaki's connection was to our group. Aragaki said, I'm not with them anymore. That anymore part came up, and I was kind of like, I wondered about that. We've kind of seen that implied before, but again, to see it spelled out a little more specifically now, we'll just have to keep that in mind going forward. But the man without the shirt said, well, okay, that's no problem. If you're not with them anymore, you should have no problem telling us about them, unless there's a reason you don't want to tell us anything that you know. And Aragaki felt a little cornered by that, and so he did talk about the things he and Akihiko talked about a couple Sundays ago, about how we learned that by defeating all 12 of the special shadows, that should put an end to the Dark Hour, Tartarus, the shadows, all of those threats. And at that point, the usually calm and collected tattooed man just could not comprehend that. It's like, why? Why would they possibly do that? That would put an end to our powers. They can't do that. This is unthinkable. I mean, he was really at a loss, and he seemed to not have that same cool demeanor to him anymore. And the guy in the green jacket next to him just kind of like said, hey, take a breath sort of thing. And the guy without the shirt on just kind of just stopped for a second. And at that point, he just, they walked away from Aragaki. From what they were doing before of just observing us and wondering about us, I think they've learned more about our mission, and it doesn't sound like it's a mission they're exactly fond of. I don't know what that's going to mean for us going forward, but definitely something to keep in mind. But yeah, that was already this evening, so that finally panned back to the dorm then, and I was coming back down the stairs, having just arrived back and put my stuff away upstairs. And everybody else was down in the lounge area, having done the same and kind of relaxing. We all decided that we were all too tired from traveling to want to go to Tartarus tonight, so I was in agreement there. But it was just, kind of fun to reminisce about the trip, and specifically talking about Aigis tonight. Everybody kind of had their own thoughts on what it's going to be like to work with her. How real she looks. Junpei especially was trying to conceptualize, she's a robot, but she's beautiful. Can I look past the robot part for the beauty part? What, how do I take this? I don't know. I don't understand. So he was, wrestling with that. And other people are just kind of excited to see how the team is growing. Akihiko made mention that he couldn't believe how many people they have now, considering how few they had, 3 to 4 months ago. And we've really come a long way there. We're all content just staying at the dorm. I learned some things about Aigis from Chairman Akutsuki. He'd mentioned the other day that there had been multiple anti-shadow weapons developed, but they were apparently destroyed during the incident 10 years ago, and only Aigis is left. And she'd been at the lab on Yakushima Island being repaired after whatever mission, so I'm not sure if the others had been on site at Gekkokan High 10 years ago when the explosion happened and were unfortunately lost then, or how that worked out, but the chairman said that's why Aigis is alone, and she's been kind of lonely since then, which was unfortunate to hear. We also kind of asked, what was the reasoning for designing these anti-shadow weapons to look like people? Why make it a girl? And he said that the reasoning for that was so that it had a connection to a persona, which is a product of the human mind. And for the human mind to understand that it's a human mind, it helps to be in a human form. He said that if they made these anti-shadow weapons look like tanks, then the mind wouldn't really understand the form it's in, and it wouldn't be as effective, or it would reject the form entirely. Which sounds like an interesting thing to explain the choices. I'm not sure if there was more to it than that, but it seemed logical at the time, so it's kind of was like, okay, I can understand that. I'm glad they took the time to mention it without going into extreme detail and leaving people chances to scrutinize and say, well, this contradicts that. And, maybe those things are still out there for all I know, but it was enough of an explanation for me that made sense. And I also asked him about why she's so fixated on me specifically. And he just kind of laughed at that and said, I couldn't say. Could be a problem with her recognition software or any number of things. We don't really know, but I wouldn't worry about it. So, that was a very Chairman Akutsuki response. And Aigis herself still seems fairly robotic when talking to her. She says that it's her mission to stay by my side. So, I'm glad she's on my side, but hopefully we can interact with her more and, make her more capable of communicating with humans. It would probably help me to do more of that communicating as well. But the rest of the evening was at my disposal then because we weren't going to Tartarus. So I made my rounds around town just to kind of say hi to everybody, having come back from the trip. Specifically, I stopped and saw Elizabeth and gave her those souvenirs from the beach. She was really happy to have it. It was just, nice to catch up with everybody. I didn't do any shopping or anything. Nothing's on sale. Nothing's anything I really needed. But just kind of nice to get back into that routine. And I'd had thoughts to go to Wild Duck Burger tonight and work on my courage. I was also talking about, stopping and picking up that forum note to see what was on that. But I'm like, no, I really want to work on my courage and get dinner tonight. And when I got to Wild Duck Burger, the place was too crowded. It was full of people and there wasn't a space to get some food. So I couldn't make use of that tonight. So I really took that as a sign. It was like, okay, the game is telling me that we're not doing that tonight, so go with the other plan. Go back to the URL dealer and pick up that forum note. So that's what I did. Took that home with me, used the shared computer, and learned about a vending machine in front of Iwatodai Station that always has its drinks marked as sold out. But there's apparently a bug with the machine or it's broken or something, and those drinks can actually still be purchased. So it'll be interesting to get over there next time I can and just see what drinks are available, what they can do for me, how I might need them going forward. I don't know if or when I'll need them, but now I have access to them, and I know that I'm done with that forum note from now on. So there's a lot of nice things to know that task is finished now. No more need to worry about it. And it was a nice casual, relaxing evening then. We weren't doing anything dangerous. It was easy enough to get to bed early because we were all tired, so I finished my time on the shared computer, got upstairs, and got to bed. I think we're back in school tomorrow to hear about our exam results, so another kind of a bummer feeling coming off of a vacation, but with the summer vacation being right around the corner, that kind of helps frame it a little bit better. It's like, okay, we can make it through a couple more days. We've got the closing ceremony here pretty soon, and then it's summer vacation. So there's that to look forward to going forward. But with all that does take us to the end of Thursday the 23rd. Vacation's over, but it was still a great day. We feel remotivated, re-energized, and ready to tackle what comes next. So I want to thank you so much for joining me today. All week, it's been a great vacation. Thanks for coming along with me, and thanks for being here at the end of it. My name is Tom Shima. I stream this Persona A Day series live every day at 12:30 Eastern Time, so anytime that works for you, I would love to have you here. I also upload each day's playthrough to my YouTube channel, so I've got a playlist of the entire series from day one up until today, so you can watch any of those episodes anytime you want, whatever works best for your schedule. I just hope you have a great Thursday. We're getting closer to that weekend, so hopefully we're having as much fun as we can with things, we're accomplishing the things we need to get done, and we've got some fun waiting for us on the horizon. Let's keep giving it our all and working towards that fun. I've been Tom Shima. Thank you again for joining me. I hope I can see you tomorrow as the series continues. And until our paths cross again, I hope you take care. Thank you again, and goodbye.